Hi everyone. My name is Michael Harrison. I'm 42 years old, and ironically, I make a living by turning other people's trash into money. It doesn't sound very romantic, but my position at Green Future Recycling sounds much more solid. I'm the lead process engineer for industrial waste disposal. Essentially, I'm an architect of other people's landfills, but with a claim to environmental friendliness. We recycle what people throw away and return it to the production cycle. Lately, I'd often thought that I had built my family life on the same principle. I took all the problems that fate threw at us, ground them into dust, and built something new, beautiful, and clean from that dust. I guess that's why our marriage with Emma lasted 12 years. I knew how to smooth out the sharp edges. Emma, my wife, she's 38, and she's the keeper of the hearth in the most classic, almost stereotypical sense of the word. She doesn't work. Actually, she works, but her job doesn't bring in money, it brings comfort. She takes care of the home. When I tell my colleagues this, they snicker. Mike, your wife is a housewife. In the 21st century? But they don't understand. Emma isn't just a housewife. She's an artist, and our home is her canvas. She knew which flowers to put in the living room to make the room come alive with color. She knew which wine my boss liked and always served it with such ease, as if he were family. She sensed when I needed to talk and when I just needed someone to sit quietly beside me. We were that couple people point at and say, that's not real. The boring, perfect, predictable couple. And we were happy. Our home is our fortress. We bought it 5 years ago when I got promoted and my salary grew enough for us to afford a mortgage in a prestigious Chicago suburb. The house was old, with history, but Emma turned it into a gem. The yard where she planted a garden, the porch where we drank coffee in the mornings, the huge kitchen that always smelled of something delicious. I loved coming home from work. The plant hummed, contractors argued, machines screeched, but at home, silence awaited me. Emma always met me at the door, no matter what time I came in. She'd kiss me, lead me to the kitchen, pour fresh coffee, and tell me about her day. Which neighbors had fought, what movie she'd watched, what new kind of cheese she'd bought at the little shop near the subway. I'd listen with half an ear, nod, but inside, warmth would spread. This was our routine, and it was perfect. That Saturday when it all began was sunny and windy. September in Chicago is the best time of year. The air is clear, the leaves are starting to turn yellow, but the sun still warms like summer. We decided to have a get-together with friends. Emma loved hosting. She'd start preparing 2 days in advance, planning the menu, making shopping lists, washing windows even though they were already sparkling. Honestly, after a tough week, I dreamed of just lounging on the couch with a book and seeing no one but her. But I couldn't refuse her. She got so excited about the idea, fluttering around the house, that my reluctance felt like a betrayal of her happiness. Especially since we hadn't all gotten together in a long time. Our group formed back when we first got married. It was Emma's school friends and their husbands. David and Sarah, Tom and Linda. We were as different as ingredients in a salad, but together we created something edible. David, a lawyer, expensive, successful, always busy, and slightly arrogant. He wore suits that smelled of money and looked down on everyone, as if assessing how much your legal defense would cost. His wife Sarah was the complete opposite of Emma. Loud, emotional, boisterous. If Sarah entered a room, all conversations stopped because her voice drowned out any noise. She was the spark plug, who always dragged everyone into adventures. Tom was my buddy. We'd play golf sometimes. He worked at an insurance company and was boring, predictable, but reliable. His wife Linda worked at a gallery and constantly dropped names of artists no one had ever heard of. That Saturday, I was grilling meat for morning. Emma flitted between the kitchen and the porch. She wore a light cotton dress with tiny flowers, her hair in a bun with stray wisps escaping. She laughed, adjusted napkins on the table, poured lemonade. I watched her and thought, God, I'm so lucky. She caught my eye and winked. Just then, the first guests arrived. Tom and Linda came with a bottle of Italian wine and a box of pastries from the most expensive pastry shop in town. Linda kissed my cheek and immediately started telling me about an exhibition they were opening next week. Tom shook my hand and headed to the grill to check on my progress. Half an hour later, David pulled up in his black Mercedes. Sarah jumped out of the car first, like a cork from champagne. Emma, darling, she cried, hugging my wife. You look amazing. That tan. Did you go somewhere without us? No, no, Emma laughed. It's just from outdoor yoga. And Mike's still slaving away at his dump? Sarah turned to me, flashing a white-toothed smile. It's a recycling plant, Sarah, I smiled back. Oh, what's the difference? She waved her hand. Main thing is it pays well. Look at this house you've got. David came over and shook my hand. A firm, dry handshake. A sidelong glance. He always looked at people like that, appraising LY, as if looking for a weak spot. So, Mike, how's business? He asked, settling into a wicker chair. Working, I answered briefly. I never liked talking about work with David. He always tried to find an excuse to offer advice, which he thought was valuable but was actually endlessly pompous and useless. The day rolled on. I grilled steaks, the men discussed the stock market and news, the women talked about a new fitness trainer and autumn fashion trends. Emma laughed, poured wine, made sure everyone's plates were full. I watched her and felt proud. My wife knew how to create an atmosphere. Everyone felt good in our house. By around 5, when the steaks were eaten, salads devoured, and the first wine finished, the conversation relaxed. We drank whiskey, nibbled cheese, and just chatted about nothing. Then Sarah, always the instigator, clapped her hands. Everyone, she announced. I have a proposal. Dangerous, Tom smirked. Shut up, Tom. I'm serious. David and I were thinking. Enough sitting at home. Autumn, falling leaves, romance. We should go away. Where? Linda asked lazily. I found an amazing place. Sarah leaned forward, her eyes gleaming with excitement. A cottage on a lake in Michigan. For 2 weeks. We'll rent a big chalet big enough for all of us. Wild nature, no civilization, just us, wine, a fireplace, long talks. David, show the pictures. David pulled out his latest iPhone, and photos started circulating. A gorgeous log chalet right by the water. Huge windows, a porch with a sunset view, a stone fireplace, a nearby forest covered in golden leaves. A picture from a brochure. Emma took the phone, and I saw her face change. She was daydreaming. Her eyes became soft, warm, lit up with that spark I saw when she talked about something truly desirable. Amazing, she breathed. How beautiful. Tom and I are in. Linda immediately chimed in. We've been wanting to get somewhere with no internet for ages. Emma? Mike? Sarah's gaze shifted to us. So, are you coming? All together? Like the good old days, remember we went to Wisconsin 10 years ago? I looked at Emma. She was silent, but I could feel how much she wanted to say, yes. I saw it in the way she gripped her glass, in the way she bit her lip. But I knew work was crazy. We were launching a new plastic sorting line. Expensive, finicky equipment, suppliers from China constantly missing deadlines, installation crews messing up. My presence was critical. I couldn't leave for 2 weeks. I couldn't. Guys, I began carefully, trying not to look at Emma. I don't even know. Work is absolutely swamped right now. End of quarter, reports, the new line. I'm afraid I can't get away. Emma lowered her eyes. She sagged slightly but immediately pulled herself together. She always knew how to hide disappointment behind a polite smile. Michael's right, she said quietly but evenly. He's in a tough period right now. Oh, come on, Sarah exclaimed. The world won't end without your plant. Relax, recharge. The world won't collapse without you. Sarah, I gently but firmly cut her off. It would collapse. If I don't oversee the startup, we'll lose millions. Literally. I really can't. We debated a bit more. David supported me. As a businessman, he understood the value of money. Tom suggested taking sick leave. Linda said health was more important. But the topic gradually faded. Sarah finished her whiskey and waved her hand. Okay, Mike, if you change your mind, let us know. The house is available for 2 more weeks after those dates. The guests started leaving around 11. It was dark, but the air still held the warmth of the departing day. We stood in the hallway exchanging goodbyes. Sarah pecked Emma on the cheek and whispered loud enough for me to hear. Listen. If Mike really can't make it, but you want to come, come alone. There's room for everyone. Linda will be there, I'll be there. Take a break from domestic life. Emma smiled, thanked her, but I saw that phrase had stuck in her mind. The door closed. Silence fell on the house like a heavy down blanket, soft but suffocating. I sighed with relief and went to the kitchen to help clean up. Emma silently gathered plates, loaded the dishwasher. I wiped the table, collected empty bottles. And then I noticed. She was silent. Not just tiredly silent, but tensely, strainedly silent. Usually, after guests left, we'd spend half an hour dissecting who looked how, who said what, who was annoying, who was nice. Emma loved that post-party analysis. Today, there was none. I called, approaching her. What's wrong? Nothing, she answered too quickly, not turning around. Don't lie to me. I can see it. What happened? She froze, then slowly turned. Her eyes glistened with tears. Michael, we haven't gone anywhere in 2 years. Not even a weekend getaway. I sighed. Here we go again. Honey, you know I work so we can have everything. So you don't have to work, so we have this house. We have everything. Her voice trembled, but she held back from shouting. We have a house, cars, kitchen appliances I don't even know how to use. But we don't have us, Michael. You're always at work. You leave at 7 in the morning, come back at 10 at night. On weekends, you sleep or work remotely. I sit here alone within these 4 walls. I'm going crazy from loneliness. I talk to the flowers because there's no one else. And now this opportunity. She turned away, wiping tears. It's just sad. I felt something clench inside me. Guilt. Sharp, prickly guilt. She was right. Absolutely right. I spent too much time at the plant. I thought I was building a future for us, but really, I was just running away from the present into work. I felt ashamed. Truly ashamed. I walked over, hugged her from behind, kissed the top of her head that smelled of lavender shampoo. Forgive me. I'm an idiot. I got completely caught up. I'll fix it. I promise. For 2 days, I walked around thinking about her words. I replayed in my mind her face when she talked about the vacation. Her dimmed gaze when I said I couldn't go. I couldn't give her time. I couldn't give her myself. The plant demanded my presence. But I could give her rest. The idea came suddenly, like an epiphany. If I couldn't go, why should she have to stay home? Why couldn't she go alone? Monday evening, when I got home from work, earlier this time, around 8, Emma was cooking dinner in the kitchen. It smelled delicious, candles were lit on the table. She was trying to create a romantic atmosphere, and that made me feel even guiltier. Emma, I said, sitting down on a stool. I have a serious proposal for you. She tensed, turned to me, drying her hands on a towel. What? You're going on that trip? With Sarah, Linda, everyone. Alone. Without me. She froze, not believing her ears. What? Mike, is this a joke? No, I'm serious. I can't get away, but you can and you should. Go, relax, have fun. You deserve it. 2 weeks in nature, with your girlfriends, by the lake. It'll be good for you. Her face. God, her face changed instantly. It lit up, like a light bulb switched on inside. She threw the towel and hung on my neck, almost knocking me over. Really? Michael, are you serious? You're not joking? Really, I laughed, feeling her joy fill the kitchen. I was happy to have made her happy. She immediately ran to the living room to call Sarah. From the kitchen, I heard her squeals and laughter. Sarah, judging by the volume of her response, audible even through the phone, was also overjoyed. Then she called Linda. Within half an hour, the plan was unanimously approved. They were leaving in 3 days. The house was booked, train tickets bought, excuses for husbands invented. David, by the way, wasn't going either. He had a big deal. But that didn't stop Sarah. All-girl trip. Sarah shouted into the phone. No men. We'll party hard. The next 3 days were hectic. Emma packed suitcases, sorted clothes, made lists of snacks to buy for the journey. She asked me to water the flowers and not forget to feed the neighbor's cat that sometimes wandered into our yard. She was so lively, so energetic, I couldn't get enough of it. On departure day, I drove her to the station. Sarah and Linda were already waiting. Sarah, as always, loud, in huge sunglasses, waving her arms and describing how they were going to rock it. David also came to see Sarah off. They stood apart, talking quietly. I glanced at them briefly and looked away. On the platform, I hugged Emma. You take care there, I said, kissing her lips. Call me every day. Send photos, so I know you're alive and well. Every day, she promised, beaming. I'll miss you. Me too. The train pulled away. Emma waved from the window, the wind blowing her hair. I waved back, and my heart felt warm and calm. I felt like a hero. I had given her wings, and she flew away. For a short while. To come back even happier. The first week flew by in an instant. Emma kept her promise. Every evening around 9, my phone would come alive. First, messages. Photos with captions. Look at this sunset. We found a mushroom patch. This is our breakfast on the porch. Then video calls. She'd sit by the fireplace in a cozy armchair, flushed from wine and impressions, chattering nonstop. Mike, it's so beautiful here. You can't even imagine. We went to the forest today, picked a whole basket of honey mushrooms. Linda says they're edible, but I'm still afraid to eat them. Sarah's been telling jokes all evening, our sides hurt from laughing. I'm glad you're having a good time, I'd smile at the screen. You're glowing. It's the air. And your absence, by the way. She'd joke. Miss you. Miss you too. How are you managing without me? The flowers haven't died? Still holding on. I talk to them, like you taught me. They say they're fine. Silly, she'd laugh. The second week, the photos became different. No, they were still beautiful. The lake, the forest, sunsets, smiling faces of friends. But something had subtly changed. Emma called less often. Instead of daily evening talks, short messages. Tired, walked a lot today, going to sleep, bad connection, call tomorrow. I didn't think much of it. Really, a vacation is a vacation. Not glued to the phone. On Wednesday of the second week, she sent a photo that momentarily pricked at me. They were sitting by a campfire. Sarah, Linda, Emma, and David? I looked closer. No, not David. Just some man, a local, probably a ranger or someone from a neighboring cabin. I exhaled. Foolishness. What stupid thoughts. On Friday, she called. Her voice was tired but satisfied. The day after tomorrow, I'm home, she said. I already miss home, honestly. Me too. I'm waiting for you. I'll cook something tasty. I'll order your favorite pizza with truffle oil. You better cook it yourself, I asked. Deal. I met her at the station on Sunday morning. The train arrived on time. She stepped out of the carriage, in the same light dress with her suitcase, but something was off. She smiled, but it was a strained smile. We hugged, and I breathed in the scent of her hair. It smelled of campfire, the road, and someone else's perfume. A masculine scent? No, I imagined it. Probably Sarah's perfume. So, how was it? I asked, taking her suitcase. Good, she answered, looking away. Tired from the journey. 2 weeks is a lot, after all. It is. Let's go home. In the car on the way home, she was silent. Stared out the window at the passing houses and trees. I tried to make conversation. Tell me the details. Photos don't tell the whole story. What's there to tell? She shrugged. I called you. Walked, ate, slept. The usual. And that guy by the fire? I asked, not knowing why. What guy? She turned to me, something like fear flickering in her eyes. Oh, that was a neighbor from the next cabin. Stopped by for a bit, sat with us. Sarah invited him. She's our social butterfly. I see. I didn't think anything of it. A neighbor, so what? At home, she showered and went to sleep. At 9 in the evening. Said she had a migraine. I was surprised. Usually people come back from vacation full of energy, but she looked drained. I chalked it up to the long trip. The next day, I left for work, leaving her asleep. Came back in the evening and found a strange sight. Emma was lying on the living room couch, wrapped in a blanket, pale. The TV was on mute, the room dark. What's wrong? I approached, felt her forehead. Are you sick? No fever. I don't know, she whispered. Just weak. Been nauseous since morning. Maybe you ate something bad on the train? Or during the trip? Maybe. She closed her eyes. I went to the pharmacy, bought activated charcoal, smectite, rehydration salts. Everything for food poisoning. She took it, but didn't feel better. The next day, the same, weakness, nausea, complete lack of appetite. When I brought fried chicken from a restaurant, the smell nearly made her vomit. Emma, this isn't right, I said seriously. Let's go to the hospital, get some tests. No, she cut me off, sharply, too sharply for someone who was sick. No hospital. It's just my stomach. It'll pass. But it's been 3 days. It doesn't just pass like this. Michael, leave me alone. She raised her voice. I know my own body. If I need to, I'll go to the doctor myself. This reaction put me on edge. Emma was never hysterical. She never refused to see a doctor when she was sick. But now, it was like a demon had possessed her. I decided not to push, but inside, I was nervous. Something was definitely wrong. The next day at work, I sat in my office, unable to concentrate on reports. Emma's pale face, her irritation, her refusal to go to the hospital, it all swam before my eyes. A stupid thought kept circling in my head. which I tried to push away, but it kept coming back. I dialed the number of my old friend Steven. We went to university together. He was now a therapist at a city clinic, one of the best diagnosticians in town. "Steven, hi, it's Mike. Are you busy?" "Mike," he greeted warmly. "Long time no see. You've disappeared. How are you?" "Fine, working. Listen, I have a question, not as a friend, but as a doctor." "Wow, serious?" "Shoot." I described Emma's symptoms: weakness, morning nausea, no fever, aversion to food smells, especially fried food, mood swings. Steven listened and chuckled. "Mike, are you pulling my leg?" "What do you mean?" "Dude, by the description, this is classic first trimester toxicosis. Your wife is probably pregnant. Buy a test at the pharmacy, have her take it. Or bring her straight to me, we'll do an ultrasound." The ground fell away from under my feet. Pregnant? We weren't planning. We hadn't used protection for about 5 years. After all the checkups, doctors said we had low fertility, the chance of pregnancy was minimal. We'd accepted it, stopped obsessing, and life went on. And now, "Steven, thanks," I managed to say. "I understand." "Mike, you okay there?" He sounded worried. "You should be happy. Or did you not want kids?" "I don't know, Steven. I don't know. I'll call you back." I sat in my car in the plant parking lot for about 20 minutes. My head was in complete chaos. A child, our child, the miracle we had waited for and stopped waiting for. But why was Emma acting so strange? Why wasn't she running to the doctor? Why hide the symptoms? Maybe she suspected too, but was afraid? Afraid it was too late, afraid of her age, afraid of potential problems? That would be understandable, but her hysteria. No, something didn't add up. I started the car and drove to a pharmacy. I bought 3 tests from different brands, just to be sure. Stuffed the bag in the glove compartment and drove home. At home, Emma was sitting in the kitchen, drinking mint tea. Seeing me, she was surprised. "You're home early? Did something happen? We need to talk," I said, putting the bag on the table. "About what?" She tensed. I took out the test boxes and placed them in front of her. "Here, take one." She looked at the boxes, then at me. Her face went so pale it became translucent. "Have you lost your mind?" Her voice cracked into a falsetto. "Why?" I called Steven, described your symptoms. He said it sounds like pregnancy. "Take a test, Emma. Just so we know." "I'm not pregnant," she screamed, pushing the boxes away. "Don't you understand? I just have food poisoning. I'm not taking that stupid test." "Emma," I tried to stay calm, though alarm was boiling inside me. "It's just a test. A couple of minutes. If it's negative, we go to the doctor and find the real cause of your nausea." "I don't want to." "I won't. Either you take the test," my voice hardened, "or we go to the hospital right now, and you have blood drawn. Your choice." We stared at each other. Panic swam in her eyes. Real, animal panic. The look of a cornered animal. I'd never seen that look on Emma before. "Fine," she hissed through clenched teeth. She grabbed the bag and went into the bathroom. I stood in the hallway, leaning against the wall. My heart was pounding in my throat. Minutes dragged like hours. 5 passed. 10. 15. Finally, the bathroom door opened. Emma stood on the threshold, white as a sheet. She clutched a test in her hand. "Well?" I asked, though I already read the answer on her face. Silently, she held out the stick. 2 lines. Bright, red, clear, like a sentence. "It's false," she whispered. "Tests are often wrong. Need to redo. You have 2 more there." I nodded. "Go ahead, Michael. Go on, Emma. I'll wait." She went back in. Another 20 minutes later, she came out with 2 tests in her hands. Both showed 2 lines. 3 tests can't be wrong," I said quietly. "You're pregnant. This can't be." She cried out, tears streaming down her cheeks. "It's a mistake. A mistake. Tomorrow we're going for an ultrasound," I said. "To a private clinic. I'm taking the day off. This is not up for discussion, Emma. Enough hysterics. If you're pregnant, we need to register you. You're not 20 anymore." That night, we slept on opposite sides of the bed, our backs to each other. I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, trying to comprehend. We had wanted children. Before, we had wanted them. We prayed, paid doctors, underwent procedures. Then we accepted it. And now, when we had both passed the threshold where hope had died, it happened. A miracle. But why was she crying? Why was she terrified? Why wasn't she jumping for joy? I felt a cold lump growing in my chest. The intuition that had never failed me at work was now screaming. Something was wrong. Very, very wrong. In the morning, we went to the clinic. I booked Emma with the best specialist for early-term pregnancies, a professor with immense experience, usually booked a month in advance, but Stephen's connection got us in. The hall smelled of coffee and sterility. Emma sat on pins and needles, twisting her purse strap, biting her lips. "Michael, maybe we shouldn't," she whispered when the nurse called her in. "Let's leave, right now. Just forget it. Go," I said firmly. "I'll wait here." She slipped through the door. I stayed in the corridor, staring at the aquarium with goldfish. The fish swam back and forth, carefree and stupid. I envied them. Time dragged endlessly. I checked my watch every 2 minutes. Half an hour passed. 40 minutes. Finally, the door opened. Emma came out. She was crying. Tears streamed down, smearing what was left of her mascara. Behind her stood a smiling doctor, the professor, a woman around 50 with a kind face. "Mr. Harrison?" she addressed me. "Congratulations. You're going to have a baby. The term is very short, only 3 weeks, but there's already a heartbeat. Go hug your wife." I stood up. I wanted to approach, hug her, shout with joy. But when I looked at Emma, at her face, her shoulders, how she cowered, I understood. These weren't tears of happiness. These were tears of horror. Despair. Fear. "Thank you, doctor," I said mechanically. "We'll be going." I took Emma by the elbow and led her out of the clinic. We got into the car. I started the engine, pulled out of the parking lot. Dead silence filled the cabin. I drove, gripping the wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. Gears were turning in my head. 3 weeks. The doctor said 3 weeks. That means conception occurred about 18 to 20 days ago. Emma and I had last made love almost 2 months ago. I had a tough project, came home exhausted, fell into bed and slept. We hadn't been intimate since early August. Now it was mid-September. And 2 weeks ago, she was on vacation. 14 days, give or take, and the term is 3 weeks. I'm not a mathematician, but even I can count to 3. We pulled into the garage, turned off the engine, sat in silence, staring ahead at the wall with tools. "Emma," I began. My voice sounded alien, raspy. 3 weeks. She was silent, clung to her seatbelt like a drowning man to a straw. 2 months, Emma. We haven't been together in 2 months. And now, 3 weeks. Do you understand what I'm thinking? And then she broke. She sobbed. Not quietly, not prettily, but with heaving, choking, genuine sobs. She turned to me, and words poured out, mixed with hiccups and crying. "Michael, forgive me. Please, forgive me. I don't know how it happened. I didn't mean to. It was one time, one damn time. I was drunk. We were all drunk. Sarah fell asleep, Linda fell asleep, and we stayed by the fireplace. David kept pouring wine, telling me how beautiful I was, that Michael didn't appreciate me. I don't remember how it happened. I woke up in his bed in the morning. I was so disgusted, so scared. I made him swear to be silent. Told him I'd kill him if he told anyone. I thought it would be okay. Thought it would blow over. Forgive me, Michael, I beg you." My world collapsed. I sat and listened as my wife, my calm, gentle, loving wife, told me about sleeping with David. With Sarah's husband. With a man who shook my hand, with whom I drank whiskey, whom I considered, if not a friend, then at least an acquaintance. "You slept with David?" I repeated. My voice sounded hollow, as if from a deep well. "With David? Forgive me. Please, forgive me. You came home and lied to me. You screamed at me when I suggested a test. You wanted to hide it. You wanted me to raise another man's child? To think it was mine? I didn't know. I hoped it wasn't. I was scared. You were scared." I got out of the car. Slammed the door. Emma ran after me, across the garage, grabbed my arm. "Michael, don't go. Let's talk. I love you. You love me?" I stopped and looked at her. "You slept with another guy 3 days after I let you go on vacation, and you say you love me? You killed our family, Emma. In one night by the fireplace." I walked into the house. She followed, clutching at my clothes, my hands, anything she could grab. I went upstairs to the bedroom, took a suitcase from the shelf, threw it on the floor. "Pack your things." "Michael, no. Please, let's see a therapist. I'll do anything you say. Pack your things and get out of my house. Now." "Where will I go?" she wailed. "I don't care. To your parents. To Sarah. Tell her what a wonderful husband she has. To David's, since you had such a good time with him. But I want you gone within the hour." She fell to her knees. Literally fell, grabbed my legs. Michael, I beg you. I can't bear this. I love you. Get up, I said. Don't humiliate yourself. You've already destroyed everything. Get up and pack. I pulled away, went into my study, and locked the door. Sat in the armchair and stared at the wall. I heard her moving around the room, opening closets, crying. Then the front door slammed. Silence. I sat in the study until morning. Never came out. Never cried. There was nothing left inside me. Just emptiness. In the morning, I called Sarah. I didn't know why I was doing it. Maybe out of revenge. Maybe out of a sense of justice. Maybe just because she had a right to know. Sarah, hi. It's Mike. Can you talk, Mike? Her voice was sleepy, surprised. Did something happen? Calling so early. Something happened. I need to tell you something. It's about David. About David? She tensed. What about him? Sit down, Sarah. Sit down if you can. Mike, you're scaring me. I told her everything. Dryly, without emotion, like a police report. About the trip, about the night by the fireplace, about Emma's pregnancy, about the term coinciding with the trip, about the confession. Silence on the other end. Then a dull thud. Probably Sarah sat on the floor or dropped the phone. You're lying, she whispered. I wouldn't lie about something like this, Sarah. I have nothing to sell you and nothing to hide. My life is destroyed. I just thought you should know. Bastard, she breathed. Bastard. I trusted him. I gave him my whole life. I'm sorry, Sarah. She hung up. I didn't take offense. I understood. A month later, we divorced. Emma tried to fight, came with her parents who urged me not to break up the family, to forgive for the sake of the future child. I listened silently, then said, your daughter cheated on me with a friend. She's pregnant by him. If you think I should forgive that, you're insane. They left and never called again. Sarah divorced David 2 weeks later. He didn't deny it. Said it just happened. Coward. Sarah and I talked on the phone a few times. She was holding up well, said it was the best thing that had ever happened to her because she finally saw who he really was. We even managed to laugh through the pain. You know, Mike, she said once. We're in the same boat now. Two abandoned fools. I wasn't abandoned, Sarah. I did the abandoning. There's a difference. Abandoned, abandoner. What's the difference? Alone in the field. I'm alone now too. But you know what? I don't regret it. Better alone than with someone like David. 6 months have passed. I still live in our house. The flowers Emma used to water died long ago. I threw them out. The garden is overgrown with weeds. I hired a gardener, but he does everything wrong. There's a new project at work, and I throw myself into it to avoid thinking. Evenings, I sit on the porch, drink whiskey, and stare at the stars. Sometimes I take out my phone and scroll through old photos. There's Emma and me at the beach 5 years ago. There she is in the kitchen, laughing. There she is on the porch, waving at me. Happy. Now I know the price of that happiness. They say time heals. Bullshit. Time just teaches you to live with the pain. The pain doesn't go anywhere. It just becomes part of you, like an old scar. The worst part isn't what she did. The worst part is that she stole my memories. I can't remember our 12 years without thinking. What if she was lying to me then, too? Trust is like a mirror. You can glue the pieces back together, but you can never look into that reflection again without being afraid of getting cut. I don't know where she is now. Rumor has it she lives with her parents, gave birth. A boy or a girl? I don't know, and I don't want to know. I'm Michael Harrison. I'm 43, alone again in my fortress. Only now, it doesn't smell like comfort and love. It smells like loneliness, whiskey, and the concrete dust I bring home from the plant. A recycling plant. My life now is one big recycling plant. I recycle memories into cynicism, pain into work, emptiness into money. And that, probably, is the only thing I have left. Sometimes I wonder, what if I had gone with them? What if I had dropped work and gone to that lake? Would it have changed anything? Or would she have found another way to betray me? I'll never know the answer. And that, perhaps, is the most wretched part of this whole story, the eternal, what if, with no answer. But there's another question I do have an answer to. Could I have lived with her after this, knowing that another man's child was growing inside her, knowing she had lied to my face, knowing she was capable of such a betrayal? No, I couldn't have, and that, at least, offers me some small comfort. I made the right choice. Painful, but right, because sometimes, the best way to process toxic waste is to throw it away forever. So this is how I live. I work, sleep, eat, sometimes drink with Tom. He He, by the way, also divorced Linda, but for a different reason. Life goes on. It's not fair, not kind, not evil. It just is. And you have to find a way to exist within it. Even if inside, there's only ashes.